Every doula has a story, and today you're going to hear my story. I'm Dina the Doula, a birth and bereavement doula, and this is Doula Tea. So, I think every doula has a unique story because we're all unique individuals. But there is often a common denominator of somebody becoming a doula that is that they have children themselves, that they've gone through birth and they've been well supported or they weren't well supported. And that was the catalyst for choosing to be a doula. I do not have children, which I think is something that there is a community of people who are childless and are doulas, but it's not as common as people having children and being doulas. In fact, my background is in community work. That's what my education is, and that's what I thought I was going to be doing. And I worked in mental health and addictions. And then I found myself floating and wasn't really sure what I was going to be doing. I had applied for school. I got early acceptance into child and youth work, which I was very excited about. But I wasn't able to get confirmation. I wasn't able to get a guarantee of my student loan, which was a big deal. If you're going to put out $500 to defer to your tuition until your student loan comes through, you want to know that that student loan is going to be there because that $500 is non-refundable. I found myself at a point where I needed to either pay the $500 and hope for the best or not. And I just couldn't do it. I was not in a financial place where I could afford to put $500 on, what felt like not a safe bet. And there were people who were probably waitlisted who deserved to have a spot in that program. So I gave up my spot. And then it was fall time. The people that I would have been going to school with were doing their classes, and I didn't know what I was doing with myself, which was terrifying. And then something happened. Earlier in the year, while I thought I was going to school, I had passed a website that was advertising doula classes. And I thought that sounded neat. I knew what a doula was. My older cousin had talked about it, either having one or becoming one. But I was going to school, so that didn't matter. And so here I am in the fall, and I'm just, scrolling through the interwebs as one does. And this website popped up again randomly. And I was like, I'm not doing anything else. So I kind of thought that was the universe telling me I should do it. So I signed up. I was really excited. I was very excited. It felt like I was on a path. And I feel like throughout my life, I've never really done things the way other people had done them. You graduate high school, you go to school, college or university, you get your diploma, you get your degree, you work in that, and you just do that forever. And, you settle down, you have kids, your 2.5 kids in your house, and I really didn't do it that way. I have walked many paths and followed my gut, and whenever I don't and I try to live as other people do, it doesn't work. It in fact often becomes a disaster. So I felt good about it because my gut was telling me that this was the start of something. So I did my training, and I won't say which, but I just felt the training was nice and all, but I felt a little sent into the wind, and also that there had to be more than what the training had taught me. And I wasn't really sure I wanted to certify with the organization that the classes were through. Before this all happened, I had experienced a miscarriage from a chemical pregnancy, which means it's basically the earliest kind of miscarriage that you can have. Because it was so early, it was very difficult to verify. We ended up not verifying it in the end, which also felt like that question mark. Like, I know what I experienced and what I went through, but you almost want to have that medical stamp of, yes, this is what happened. And so when I saw that there were classes for birth and bereavement doulas that would provide you with sort of that certification. And I should say that when I talk about certification, you can train and learn everything and not be certified. When you certify with one of the doula organizations, you're sort of getting, again, that stamp saying, like, you've done the things that they require of their doulas to learn. You've learned enough to be proficient by their guidelines. So becoming a birth and bereavement doula was a little bit because I'd felt so lost during my own experience, and it would have been nice to have someone there. But also, because I knew I wasn't going to certify with my training organization, it would be nice to have a certification, just in case anybody ever asked. I could say, yes, I am certified with, and I certified with Stillbirth Day. I love my community worker education. It was probably the best higher education experience that I've had. But Stillbirth Day is probably tied with that for my most favorite educational experience. So that's what I did. I trained with Stillbirth Day. And the more and more I was interested in loss work, the more I heard stories from people. For instance, last Kingston Pride, so not this year because we didn't really have one, but the year before, we had someone come to our table and her partner said, there's all kinds of doulas. There's all kinds of doulas. There's even ones for loss. And I said, oh, I know. I attend losses. And immediately this woman teared up and said that she had had a loss 10 years prior, and that she had felt so alone and so unsupported. And she really wished that at the time that she knew that there were loss doulas. You could tell that because she had felt so alone and so unsupported when it happened, that even now it's still as fresh as it was 10 years ago. And every time I hear stories like that, and there are a lot of stories exactly like that, I feel that this is a really important job to have, especially to be in the community trying to open up conversations about pregnancy and infant loss. And actually October and October 15th are dedicated to the education and awareness of pregnancy and infant loss. BB's joined us for this segment. Anyways, Chrissy Teigen recently experienced a pregnancy loss, and she lives her life, on social media and out in the public. And she's a very vocal person. She has opinions and she doesn't mind sharing them. And that's great and wonderful. And I think people love her so much for that. So she had been very open about her struggles with this pregnancy, that she was experiencing complications, some pretty serious complications. And when the pregnancy ultimately was ended, she was very open about it and shared a very vulnerable moment with the people who are her viewers and who are her audience, and with the rest of the world, which is brave. It is very brave to be open about something so painful and to share that with people. She has received some very ugly comments that she is using the loss of what would have been her son to gain followers, to gain attention. People telling her that they're sorry for her loss, but that she should have kept it to herself, that she should have kept it private, that she should have hidden it. And I think that that is fine if that is what you want to do, if that helps you make it through. But as somebody who has shared her journey, who has shared her life, it seems natural that she would share a post explaining what has happened and then to take some time off, which she has, and that there is nothing wrong with that. To shame her for how she deals with her loss is inexcusable. And I think it speaks to exactly how stigmatized pregnancy and infant loss and talking about them really, really is still. And I think it's more harmful. I think it's more harmful to have things like that hidden away because it makes it feel shameful. It makes it feel like you can't reach out. That when it happens, you don't talk about it. You are almost saving people from having to deal with it. People don't tend to know that there are loss doulas until they've experienced a loss. With loss doulas, we can be there, whether it's during a miscarriage, whether there's a fatal diagnosis and you will be giving birth, whether that is an induction or just a vaginal birth or a C-section. We can do all of the things that a birth doula would do, keeping in mind that unfortunately our client will probably not be going home with their baby unless the baby is expected to live days, weeks. We also can help out in NICU situations. And then we can be there afterwards to help keep an eye on our client's well-being. We can be there to just be somebody to listen. And that is one of the, probably the biggest thing that we can do. It's just be present and just hold space. And actually, how passionate I am about this work has also led me to train as a death doula, which is something I feel that is one of those paths converging with another path that I always wanted to do something either hospice related or and I wasn't really sure. I lost my father when I was still 21. I was almost 22. I felt sort of called to do something related to grief work or to hospice or to dying in general. And the more that I learned about death support and grief support, the more I wanted to do it, but I was never really sure that I was ready. And I think that becoming a birth and bereavement doula really helped me get to the place where I could put my own grief aside, not forget about it, but have it sort of, instead of directly inside of myself, sort of just off to the side, so I can still walk with it, but that I can be there for people and not have it overwhelm me. That's sort of where I am now. I started with working in the community and, feeling lost, and then finding myself again, starting with birth work and then sort of moving into birth and, pregnancy and infant loss, and like slowly moving from pregnancy and infant loss to include, everybody. I love working with people during their most vulnerable moments. And I feel like the big moments in life are when we enter this world and when we're exiting it. And I love this symmetry between the two experiences and how alike they are in so many ways. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things that I've learned, is just the doorways into this world are almost the same doorway. Anyways, that's my doula story. That's how I became a doula, and that's where I am now. So if you'd like to hear any more doula stories, which I hope there'll be a lot of them because we have a lot of doulas who are all unique and all come from different places and are all doing different things. So if you'd like to be informed about those, just hit like and subscribe, and you can find me on social media. I'm Dina the Doula everywhere, and sometimes BB will be included in pictures, and she's just so cute. And if you'd like to learn more about Doula Support Foundation and what we offer, all that information is in the down bar with all of my information, and we will see you again soon. Bye!